for those of you that weren't here last night, I think I was sitting here about 1:30 last night, and finishing up. One of the major differences between being on the West Coast for the draft and the East Coast is that it ends just a little bit later here than it does out there. It's still an adjustment for me. So for those of you that weren't here last night, welcome, and thank you for coming out. We'd like to introduce our two draft choices. To my left, P.J. Washington from the University of Kentucky, and to my right, Cody Martin from the University of Nevada, Las Vegas. Also in attendance are their families, and where are they sitting? Or are they leaving? Oh, here they are, right here in the front. Okay, when you're here, you kind of look to the back. Okay, but they're in the front, and welcome, and welcome to be a part. We're happy to have you to be a part of the Charlotte Hornet family. PJ came in from New York for the draft last night, and he said he got an hour of sleep, and I have a hard time imagining how you go back to the hotel and get 1 hour of sleep. So I found out it was really 1 hour of sleep on the airplane. So what that means is I think he was up all night with his family celebrating. And Cody, as most of you know, is from Moxville, or at least that's where you live now, or your family lives now. Is that correct?
Clemens.
Clemens.
Yeah, no.
Okay. And he watched the draft from his home, and it's an hour and 20 minutes, and I think he was the first person in the building this morning. So, so at this time, I'd just like to, open it up to questions. In general, we're excited to have both players. One's a little bit younger than the other. Cody's, probably more experienced, being his fifth year with a redshirt year in college, and PJ 2 years at the University of Kentucky. We're excited about having two young players, which we feel have a tremendous amount of growth and ability today. And we hope with our player development program, our exposure to our G League in Greensboro, hopefully they can do and progress as much as Dwayne Bacon and Devontae Graham did this year with the use of our G League program, which means you play in the NBA and maybe from time to time you play in the G League based on how hard you work and how your development is. And I know they're on board. So at this time, I'd like to just open it up to questions to either player or myself, and at the end we'll hold up the jerseys and take photos and do individual stuff, and you guys can visit with the players and the families if you like. Thank you.
Matt Rachinsky for Hornets.com. For both of you players, we know how excited the organization is to have you here. How excited are you guys to be joining the Charlotte Hornets, and what makes you think like you'll be a good fit with this team?
It was a dream come true for me to hear my name get called and get drafted. Especially excited to be here, especially with my family. Cherishing the moment. Just excited to get started.
I think for me, especially being from North Carolina, I think it was a big deal and definitely a dream come true. I was very shocked because it almost seems like it's the perfect, situation, perfect scenario that you can only imagine in your head when you're growing up. So for it to actually happen it's really big for me and my family, and just be able to be that close and be able to really be within driving distance. So, and when it comes to fitting the system and the program, I think just what I bring to the table is just being very versatile, being able to play positionless basketball, to be able to handle the ball and things like that. Kind of just what people like to say, a jack of all trades. Just kind of being able, and like I said before, I think being in an environment like this will only help me expand my game and over time and develop.
Rick Nell, Charlotte Observer. With Cody bringing up that word positionless, Mitch, can you talk about, because you brought this up last night, these guys, how they're indicative of the sort of philosophical way you want to play when you said, you're not that worried about people's dimensions as you are with, what they bring and how they can blend with each other? As far as the positionless notion of what the kind of roster you're trying to build?
I guess the question, and high school basketball and college basketball, and I assume you both follow, the NBA. And a lot of the NBA today has changed in the way the game is played. There's a lot of switching, as a wing or a power forward or a bigger player, you may end up defending a point guard or a two guard. And then offensively, you may be out there with 3 or 4 guys your size, whereas many years ago, they'd be a center, a power forward, a small forward, and a point guard. So today's game, especially in the NBA, is not exactly the way it used to be. And I think that's the question is how do you kind of see yourself fitting into, the way the game is played in the NBA today?
Just with my versatility and length, I feel like the game is going to a lot of people my size, like you just said. I just got to come in and just play defense, and that's how you get on the floor is playing defense. So just once that happens, it's just basically just learning from there and just trying to soak as much up as I can.
Cody, could you just talk about, since you use the word positionless, what that means to you?
I think, the biggest thing when I was at school is that we did a lot of switching. I played for a coach that has experience in the NBA and within Coach Muss, and he's done a great job. And even when I first got there, it was a transition because he used a lot of different terminology and things like that, even when we're playing and on the court. And I caught on quick, but it was definitely an adjustment when I first got there. And for me to already have that kind of exposure leading up to this point in my career, I think it already, puts me ahead of a lot of other people because a lot of people don't have that, exposure that early on in their career. So I think being coached by Muss really helped a lot leading up to this point. And like we were talking about earlier, that's kind of how the NBA has turned into with a lot of switching and guys that are on the floor around the same size. So just really a lot of it has to do with just being out there and competing as hard as you can, playing defense and doing the dirty work, things that is going to help you win ultimately. And I think doing that is a good way to stay on the court. So.
Good morning, Ashley Mahoney at the Charlotte Post. Cody, last night you touched on the evolution of your shot, and GM Mitch Kupchak also touched on the evolution of that and the way that it transitioned from your freshman year to your sophomore year. Defensively, with this jump to the NBA, what do you look to improve immediately going forward?
Defensively, just the biggest thing with me is just being able to move my feet on smaller guys and use my length. I think I did a better job of this my sophomore year, just trying to stay back, use my length, keep my hands up, and just keep moving with them. So the biggest thing is just keep doing that and just having confidence in doing it.
Which, if you could touch on that as well, the defensive aspect.
Excuse me?
If you could touch on the defensive aspect as well for Cody's game.
Did you say Cody's game?
Sorry, PJ's game.
For PJ's game, that's okay. He just mentioned, his versatility, and he also mentioned his length. I believe it's 7'1", is that correct?
7'2", 2.5".
7'2" 2.5. So that would be, I think that would be a plus 6.5 or something like that. For those of you, for those of you that don't follow it closely, I guess a normal person might be a +1. In other words, that's wingspan versus your height, and to have somebody that's that kind of a plus in our game, in our business, that's significant. So with that kind of length, you can use that to your advantage if you get down, and if you work at defense, you certainly have the ability to do that. Some kids don't have the ability, and they try really hard, and some players have the ability but they don't try. So your gift is you have that ability, and if you really dig down and defend, there's no reasons why you can't be a great defender in this league and defend multiple positions.
PJ, Dick Cox with Cox Sports Broadcasting back here. What was the most important thing you learned as a player and as a person going back to college for one more year at Kentucky?
I think for both, just changing my mentality. Going back, I had to be a lot more mature. I had to take things in my own hands and just do it. And I knew where I wanted to go. I knew where I wanted to be. And Cal did a great job of helping me get there. But it was all on me, I would say. I was the one going in, asking coaches to work out and stuff like that. So I definitely took the initiative to come in and do my stuff.
Cody, all the way back here. Can you kind of elaborate on what it was like to see your name called by the Charlotte Hornets, being where you're from and everything you guys have gone through? What was that like for you and your family?
Honestly, it was unreal, especially definitely being from North Carolina. You always dream of playing in your hometown and, things like that. Just to be able to be in North Carolina within driving distance, an hour and 20 minutes away, it couldn't have been any better than this. So I definitely got blessed, and I would like to thank, the whole organization for allowing me to be here and give me this opportunity to be here and prove to them that they made the right choice and that I'm here to work and improve as a player, and understanding that with them allowing the confidence in me to get better as a player, it's only going to expand my game throughout time and being here. And I know they dig a lot into player development, and that's something I'm looking forward to and ready to get to work. So I'm excited.
You mentioned player development. I'm wondering if, and this is for PJ as well afterwards, the potential of playing in Greensboro. When you see what the Raptors did with guys that contributed in the finals, having been in that G League experience and gotten something out of that,
Right.
What does that do for you in terms of being willing to dive into a situation like that in the G League?
Well, to be honest, I think a lot of it's just their approach. Sometimes when guys in those positions and situations, guys can take step backs because your ego and your pride gets in the way about having to go to the G League, and they look at it as kind of a situation that, it's not for them or whatever. But some guys take it and use it as fuel and really develop their games in there and really learn how to expand and how to play and how to develop as a player and understand that every player at this level has room to grow. And I think being in those situations and to be able to play in those certain, environments will only help us as players grow and develop. And over time, I think, that's what happened. You got guys who play with a chip on their shoulder and are adding fuel to the fire. And then when they come up and get their opportunity, they don't let it slip. They take advantage of it. So I think for people to be in that situation, it says a lot about who they are and their character and what they, how much they want the program, not only themselves, but the program to win, and how much success is important and valued.
PJ, could you touch on that as well?
Just to piggyback off of what he said, I think it's just your mentality, how you use it, and how you come in and just get your stuff done, and how you carry yourself. It's basically just trying to get better. So you got to come in with that attitude, and every day just work hard and just try to get better.
Hey, PJ, Rod Boone with The Athletic right here. You played for Coach Cal, obviously, at UK. Just wondering how he helped prepare you for this moment, and what do you think, he would say to you right now if he was here?
He helped me prepare a lot. I mean, he's helped me grow so much as a person and so much as a player as well. So on the court, he's just been pushed me since I stepped foot in Kentucky. So I can't thank him enough. And if he was here, he'd probably be honestly, he's quick. So he would say a few words and then probably get up out of here. So, yeah.
This question's for Cody. You worked out for the Hornets, or Sam Perley from Hornets.com. You worked out for the Hornets in early June. So wondering if you remember anything about that workout that kind of stuck out, that maybe kind of separated you in the strap process that kind of led to you being drafted yesterday for the Hornets?
I think, for me, remembering the workout was here, it was really fast-paced. And that they just let us play, and they just really want us to see how we communicated on defense and while we were playing, what kind of reads we made, and honestly how we interacted with each other and how we played. And I know a lot of workouts and teams do that, but I was talking about earlier when I was here, I got a really good vibe and just about being here and interacting with the staff. And I think I got to show a little bit more to my game than what people think than what I just do. And I think, just being here, it was definitely a great opportunity for me to come here and show them and give them a chance to see me in person. And, just to be able to be there it was very, it was good for me. It was a good opportunity for me. So,
guys, Steve Reed from the Associated Press. Can you give us an idea for the fans here in Charlotte? What do you guys like to do off the court? What kind of interests do you have away from basketball? And who are some of your biggest influences growing up?
I'm just a chill guy off the court. I play a lot of video games. Just basically just chill with my family. Whatever time I do, I am with them. I'm always having fun with them, doing stuff with them. So, and just pretty much just a chill guy.
Yeah, pretty much same here. Like, yeah, they drafted two pretty boring guys. So all I do is really just watch Netflix. I go to the movies, I fish, and play the game. That's really about it. So, but that's what they're saying now. The board man gets paid. So hope that's true.
This one's for PJ, Josh Sims, Fox 46 over here. Being that there's a ton of Kentucky players in the league on this Hornets roster and throughout the league, what conversations, if any, have you had with those guys, and what advice did they give you about coming into the league?
I talked to some of my teammates from the past with Kevin Knox and Shea Gilgeous-Alexander, and basically all they've been telling me is how long the season is and how much you got to take care of your body. So I'm listening to them, just trying to take care of my body as much as possible, and just trying to come in focused and ready to learn.
This is for both players. What is the most important thing you'd want people to know about you as a person?
As a person, just being genuine. I think that goes a long way. No matter what you're doing, whether you're on the court, off the court, whatever. Just being a person that's real, and I think that goes a long way for people. And people can tend to tell if you're real or you're not. And I think that. It's something that I value as just me and something that I learned growing up really early, and I think I take that with me everywhere I go. So
I'm just a high character guy. Coming, I'm always nice, always smiling, always trying to have a good time. Just a fun person to be around, and not really ever down on anybody. Just trying to have fun.
Back here in the back, this is for Cody. When was the last time you didn't play with your brother on the same team as your brother?
Through these workouts, really the only time is if we play at like camps, or if we get invited to a camp or something like that. People don't like to put us on the same team, but yeah. And I know the questions coming up about how we're gonna play without each other and things like that. And I mean, if anything, it helps us play better. So I mean, honestly, we're looking forward to it, and I think it'll give us a chance to expand our games in our own way. So it's going to be exciting. So I'm looking forward to it.